Let's start this off by saying, goodness me, a lot changes very quickly in this transfer window. But here we are talking about Manchester United and a potential deal to sign Benjamin Sesko as our main striking target for the summer. It's kind of come out from Ornstein, from Romano, that he is the guy that we're looking at. So today I thought we'd go for like a pros and cons video / podcast, whatever sort of listening or watching platform you are watching or listening to this, to talk about Benjamin Sesko and see what are the benefits and drawbacks of going for his signature. But before we get into that, drop a like on the video or on the podcast, wherever you're watching or listening to this, like I say, because we are going great guns. And if you are new to this channel, this is a non-toxic place where Manchester United can have their healthiest and most productive discussions about the football club anywhere in the world. At least that's what I'm trying to build it into. And already we're on 7,000, nearly 300 subscribers. In fact, when this video comes out, I think we'll be on 7,300 subscribers, which is crazy. At the beginning of the summer, it was 3,300, and we've done really good work since then. So thank you all for the support, and I appreciate you all very, very much. And make sure you subscribe, keep your notifications on, because when I not just only upload but do live streams, which has become a big part of this channel, and even a gaming stream, which will be coming soon. So stay up to date with all of that. And if you are listening to this on Spotify, please do drop a rating on the show. Let me know what you're thinking about it. And without further ado, Benjamin Sesko. It's just to give you a bit of a background. So Man United have been tracking this guy for the better part of a year, maybe even a year and a half. Since Christopher Vivol came in, we have been looking at Benjamin Sesko under the Ineos framework. Vivol is a person who knows him very well. He's the guy who brought him into Salzburg initially and then has kept tabs on him ever since. And then now he's at Manchester United in an influential recruitment position. He wants to go for him. There has been news recently coming out that Ruben Amorim was the one floating Ollie Watkins as an ideal person as well. It's sort of now been explained a little bit more that Sesko was the main guy that Ineos, as in Wilcox and Vivol, were looking at. And as another option, in case we couldn't get him, we floated the idea of Ollie Watkins as well. And I'll just say this right off the bat in terms of the pricing, which is going to be a big sticker in the mud for a lot of people. But for me, I said that I wanted Ollie Watkins ahead of Benjamin Sesko, and that's still true. But I always said that, and I'll say it again with the caveat of what the price was going to be, considering that Watkins is 29 years old, turning 30 this season, but with 5 odd years Premier League experience and being, third highest for goals and assists over the last 3 compared to only Haaland and Salah. Like, he is one of the best performers in the Premier League, and I thought we would continue to go down that route, considering what we've done with Cunha and Burma. And I think had Watkins been even 2 or 3 years younger, we'd be going for him all guns blazing, and I can understand why. I also understand people's reticence for bringing in a 30-year-old who would turn 30 this year, because that is by far the oldest person that Ineos will have brought. Because before that, it would have been Mazraoui, who is 27. I'm not including Tom Heaton and all that in this, but, it is, it would have been a big move. And Aston Villa, I thought they would have a low bargaining position with their PSR situation, but it turns out they are sticklers in the mud and trying to get as much money for Watkins as possible. And they were looking north of 50 million for him, towards 60, which is creeping up to where Sesko was going to be costing, between 60 and 70. And I always said, if we could get him with something with a 4 in front of it, like ideally between 35 and 40-ish, as an overall package, I would have gone for him in a heartbeat, but that's not the case. He's not worth the 55 to 60 that we're putting out, or we wouldn't get enough value in that in the 3 or 4 years that he'll be operating at his top level. You need to be spending that on someone that not only has a higher shelf life, but also can bring in that added potential element. Benjamin Sesko fits that bill. He is a very good, young, promising striker, and I say promising, he's got good experience already behind him, with the fee believed to be in and around the 64 to 69 million pound mark all in. Leipzig actually want add-ons on top of that, but assuming the way Ineos are working, and if Sesko says, I want to join Manchester United, there is a chance that we could strong-arm Leipzig into a good deal at around the 60 million pound mark. And if that is the case, excluding add-ons and things, then I think that's a good deal, because we know that Ineos are going to do their installments, they're going to amortize the figures, and they're going to make sure that it doesn't cripple us this season, but also safeguards us for futures. Because one of the add-ons that Leipzig apparently proposed in early discussions was that they want a sell-on fee, which is no real problem for anyone, because that's only ever a sell-on fee of, profit. So if we do have to sell and profit on him, it would signal to your mind that we would have to make a profit for them to make any money. So everybody wins in that scenario. Sure, we could have won a bit more, but if it saves us in the short term, then fine. I think the issue that I had, I know the issue that I had, and I think a lot of what fans were saying is that this is another young project striker, and we've already done that. We've gone down that route with Rasmus Hojlund, and I can understand people's thoughts on that, but I reject the notion that he is a Rasmus 2.0, that is just another version of Rasmus. He's a project striker, and I would say he represents more risk than what an Ollie Watkins would, but he represents less risk than what a Rasmus Hojlund would have done. At the time, when we bought Hojlund 2 years ago, there was even a clip that came out recently of Sesko. It was like a live stream with his mate or something. It was actually quite good, where he was saying, I'm not ready to join Manchester United right now. Give me 2 or so years, then maybe we can talk. It's been 2 or so years. In that time, 14 goals and 6 assists in the Bundesliga, 13 goals and 7 assists in consistent seasons. In a Leipzig team that has been kind of struggling a little bit and, have lost their identity. So he's had to make a lot of things happen, and he's done that very well. And you look back at, the kind of highlight reels of Rasmus, they're nowhere near Sesko's. Like, Sesko's is far better. And I do want to look at some of the positives before I get on to the eventual risk elements, but he is a very good striker. There's a reason why he was Arsenal's first leading guy before they went for Gyökeres, and why we've been tracking him for so long. And straight off the bat, Vivel wants him, and I trust Vivel's talent ID considering who he's already brought into the academy setup. So that is a good thing. And I do believe in Ineos to actually to structure it in a favourable way for Manchester United. I think that's what, no matter what, that is going to happen. So if it is Sesko, then cool. And will he work with Cunha and Burma? Like, that's another question people will ask. I think whoever the striker is, they will work better than what we had last season, because Cunha and Burma immediately platform greater success for the striker. They're good link-up players. They're good running off them. They're good at dragging players wide and creating space that a striker can nip into. Rasmus has good movement. Sesko has better movement. So that's an interesting thing to kind of cut out. I think Sesko is in a much better position than what Rasmus was when we bought him. He also comes with like 3 or 4 years of Champions League experience. So we're getting a better player. He's better than Rasmus, right? The question would always be, what happens to Rasmus Hojlund now? There was talk that RB Leipzig consider Rasmus Hojlund a dream target. And frankly, if he went to RB Leipzig, he's tearing it up. He's probably getting Sesko numbers over there and he's having a good time. But with Rasmus, he's thinking, well, he's at the place he's always wanted to be. So why would you leave? And he's got a contract. So why would you, sell up? So I think for us, if Leipzig are interested in doing a deal for Rasmus, I think we have to bite the bullet and say he's had about 2 years here, and only really, but for giving a purple patch, has he really shown that he's not capable of leading the line for us. He probably needs about 2 or 3 years experience and maybe playing under a more experienced striker, which is where the Watkins argument comes in. But let's just negate Watkins and just say it's between Sesko or any of our starting strikers, Rasmus being the main one. Sesko is better, and he's proven that on a different scale. Proving that in the Premier League is a whole different thing, which is, that's the biggest negative, I think, with this. Is where the biggest risk comes in, because we've already spent 72 million on a striker who couldn't consistently perform in the Premier League. That's been seen for the past 2 years. And Barada has already said, that is kind of the litmus test. You get 2 years max to see if you're good enough for United. Has Rasmus proven that in 2 years? No. He's proven that he's got potential. And I think Sesko's proven that he's got more potential. So if there is a world where there's a deal to be made where they take Hojlund off of us and enjoy that, but pay us for that for, like, let's say 40 million as a base, because that's what I know we were quoting AC Milan when they were Inter Milan when they were interested, and then we get Sesko for like 65 all in, a rough 25 million net spend on a player who's got 2 or 3 more years experience at a higher level, playing in a better way, that in a more varied way that could suit us, is probably worth it. And look, like, there are definitely some negatives to go through, and I think I wanted a more cultured striker, I'll be honest. I think Sesko comes in and he's still quite raw. He's still a bit of a battering ram. His shot power is ridiculous. It's like Adriano and PES 6 with both feet. The guy's got amazing shot power, but he's erratic as well. Like, I said when I was on United View like 2 days ago, I said, and I believe this, like, when you look at a player, you got to look at their last 100 actions. Don't show me the highlights. Don't show me the lowlights. Like, a goalkeeper, what's the last 100 saves they had to make? Striker, what's the last 100 shots you took? Hojlund's looks horrible, by the way. He's had a very bad season. When you look at it, it's really bad. Whether it's void of confidence or whatever, it's bad. Sesko is better, but it's still very erratic. because I would have liked to have seen a bit more from him. But then you look at his movement to get in positions. You look at him manufacturing chances on his own. It's better than Hojlund. This is where the argument has to go now, because if we've centered on him, there's no point looking at other alternatives until we come with a definitive bit of news that it's collapsed for Sesko and we have to look elsewhere. We might as well just look at him as in his entirety. I've done videos before where I've talked about Watkins, I've talked about Voltemada, Samuel Agahawa, Rodrigo Menez, who's my personal choice, but no point doing that now. We have to look at him. Is he better than what we've got? Yes. And is it a deal that we can stomach? Probably, yeah. Because this sell to buy element, I think loaning out Rashford and taking £350,000 per week off the wage bill, or whatever it was over a year, like 12 to 15 million pounds, that's good. That is positive. And we need to see some of the other players go as well. But notwithstanding a £65 million bid, which I feel like it will be imminent because things seem to have moved quite quickly on this. Then again, it's United, so we might haggle for the free for a little bit more. It is looking like he is going to be the guy. And ultimately, will I be happy if we sign him? I would, because it's an exciting player. Sesko, Cunha and Mbeumo as a front three for a team that finished 15th, spending £200 million on that front three, two of the best performing Premier League players and one of the most exciting strikers in Europe. You cannot ask for much more than that. Let's be very honest. Like, if Ineos pull this off, that's brilliant. And we'd be plucking him under the nose of Newcastle again, who have had a stinker of a transfer window so far. So there's no way anyone could look at this as a lack of ambition for Man United. I think it's the opposite. It's just, if we get him, I just keep thinking, if we get him that kind of money, it can be better spent elsewhere. That is my overriding opinion on it. I would always say, yes, we need a striker, but we've platformed better for Cunha and Mbeumo to bring the best out of who we've got. And I think we need more addressing the midfield and the goalkeeper situation more than a striker. But if we get him, I'll back him. And will he succeed? The ultimate question, obviously, nobody knows. I think he would have been platformed to succeed massively at Arsenal with the way they play and him being the final piece of a jigsaw over there. He is just a massive piece of a jigsaw that still needs fitting in over here. So he is still, if he does come in, he is still going to need patience. He's not going to hit the ground running, but I expect him to do better than what Hojlund has been providing. And also to give fans and to give opposition players something more to think about, because Hojlund became a bit predictable last season. I think that was my biggest reassessment of him. I like him as a guy. I think he's a good lad, can be a very good player, but he has to really 180 his career overall for Man United fans to get off his back. And I don't know if he's ready to do that just yet. He needs more time. I don't think we're in a position to give him that time. And I sure as hell know Man United fans aren't patient enough with this. But let's see if they're patient enough with Sesko. But what do you think? I mean, overall, I'm happy with it. I feel quite downcast after saying all of that. But I am happy of the ambition that we're showing in this transfer market. No matter what happens, it is a very ambitious market move so far for us. And I like that we've been linked with these types of players and that we are actively trying to get them, because it proves that we are finally having some synergy behind the scenes to go after players that we want. So far, we're 2 for 2. We've gone after both players that we want and we've got them both. And we've structured both deals in the right way so it doesn't cripple us financially moving forward. If only we'd been moving like this for the entirety of the last 15 years, we wouldn't be in this kind of position, would we? So what do you think about buying Benjamin Sesko? Personally, I'm excited about the idea of him. I have doubts. I do have doubts. I think it is a big risk. I don't think the rest of the squad is in a position to take such a big risk, but I better trust the manager, and who is starting to get a bit of a flow out of them, considering what we've seen in pre-season, by the way. I trust him. I'm trusting the brains behind the scenes, because that's what they're here to do. And we have to give them the freedom in order to do that as fans. And if he comes in, welcome, and we will back you to the hilt until you give us a massive reason not to. Even then, most of us will still probably back you as well. But let me know what you think in the comments, whether you're watching or listening to this. Please do subscribe and follow the journey, because we are growing the biggest non-toxic Manchester United community in the world, and I want you to be a part of it. So if you want to join us on this mission to do that, then do as I say. Just follow up, support as much as you can, and I want to hear your comments more of all. This is all about community and about actually talking to each other. Get in the comments of this video and let me know what you think, because not all of us are going to think the same, and I know that, and I want to hear what you have to say. Thank you very much, guys. I'll see you on the next video. See you on the next stream. Make sure you're following up to stay updated with all of it, and I'll see you on the next video.